Welcome back to my page, Moneymaking Juggernaut. I'm your host, Eric Richardson, the number one educator in the asset recovery business. Today, we are back with another success story. I have my guy, Steven, with me. He just closed an $83,000 surplus, and he was able to have a very nice success fee. So, Steven, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about your deal.
Yeah, again, like Eric said, my name is Steven. I actually got Eric's course like 2022. Again, like if I got it, went through it, I said, okay, this is okay. This and that. Didn't really feel, I felt it, but again, I was just worried about because I had the 9 to 5. I was like being lazy. But anyway, I said, you know what? Let me start grinding on it. So let's just cut to the claim now. Well, it was last November 2024. I did all my research. Of course, I found the claim and I looked at the guy. I like to look at the age. So that way I can judge it, like, how do I approach him? This guy was 78 years old. So I was like, let me see if he got any relatives, about a son. So I sent, actually, I didn't want to call him. I did call him. And of course, he didn't believe me, this and that. I'm like, okay. And I remember you always keep trying. So I reached out to the son. And I explained to the son. The son was like, oh, really? I was telling him this was a tax overage from the property that was sold at a sheriff's sale. So the son was like, okay, tell me some more. So I explained it to the son. And after I told him I had proof, because I went to the court site and got the order of distribution. I went to the court and got that. So I actually showed him that. He said, okay, what do they need to do? I explained it to him. I said, well, I just want to see you out the contract, this and that. And he's like, oh, there's the catch. I said, no, you have paid nothing up front. I said, we don't get paid till after, you receive your proceeds. And with that county, because I didn't have an attorney at the time, the third parties cannot get the money.
Let me guess, you're talking about Illinois?
No, this was in one of them in Pennsylvania. It was
in Pennsylvania, yeah.
Yeah, Cumberland.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, and then I told him, I said, well, here's the thing with this. The check is going to come to you. So you have to be honest now and make sure I get my fees.
Exactly, yeah.
So he said, no problem. Then, of course, he asked me to have I had any trouble receiving fees. I said, maybe a couple of years ago, but that got resolved. Anyway, I think once he explained it to his father had called me. I was like, he talked to me, says, this real? I was like, yes. So I was like, again, I told the son, you can actually go onto that court website, type in his name or the case number, and the same document that I'm showing you, you're going to see it. This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. So, okay, I sent it out to him. They sent it back. Again, I'm old school. So I did everything like notary, old school.
That's fine. Yeah.
But here's the thing. After I did it, I was happy, He called me back, they really couldn't believe it. After they got their check, they sent it to me. And again, like this was going through Christmas because I think they was a little hesitant. So I haven't heard from him like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And I remember you always said do follow-up. So I said, you know what? Go ahead and call him. I mean, I said, do a follow-up. And the guy said, oh, yes. He said, actually, we're mailing it out now back to you. They did. Sent everything to the county. County sent them their check. They sent me my check. And I said, oh, wow, this is great. And again, I'm like, I said, you know how fast I can do this? I did old school, slow. But now I want to get into that, not get into that excess elite thing. I'm definitely, when this call is over, I'm getting it. So, but again, I want to thank you so much.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. And thank you for taking action, man. There's a lot of people who sit on it. Like you said, you got it in 2022.
Yep.
You had the 9 to 5, you sat on it, but as soon as you took action, you closed the deal, and that's all it takes. So this one came from Pennsylvania. Let's talk to the viewers about where you found the lead and then how you did your marketing. So did you just, pick up your phone and call? What did you do?
No, actually, nope. I found the lead on Bids for Asset. I used that.
Okay, Bid for Assets, yeah.
Yes, I used that. And then again, the crazy part is I don't like doing cold calls, but I remember a long time you was like, you have to make the calls. Yeah. And even in my 9 to 5, I make calls because I know what I'm doing. And again, you become an expert. You become an expert at it, then you have no issues with
it's
the
normal conversation. Exactly.
So that's what I did. So I picked up the phone, called them, and of course, again, like I said, they had the rebuttals, but I mean, they had the questions. I was coming right back with them.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, you followed everything to the T. You made your call. I like the fact that, and that was a gem for those of you who are watching. You have to figure out who your client is, how old they are, so you can know how to address them if you need to look up their children. So that was a huge gem right there. You sent over the proof, you told them the transparency. And so I saw it was an $83,000 surplus. And what was your take home on that?
$12,450.
Amazing. So definitely a return on your investment.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. And another thing I used, when I sent the court paper, I had a stamp made where it says important court document. So when I stamped the envelope, people open that faster.
Okay. Well, that's another gem. Yeah, you're dropping gems all day. Awesome. So was this was your first claim?
Big claim. But I've been doing this. I'll tell you this. I've been doing this since 2006. I started with HUD refunds, but then it was like that was real low. Then like I said, 9 to 5. So I didn't do it anymore. But then I kept seeing
Yeah.
your videos. I'm like, let me
Yeah.
check this guy out.
Yeah.
So yeah. But so actually, technically, this was my big one. But I had to get
Your
small
first
ones
big
like
one. Yeah.
1,100, 1,200 here and there.
Yeah. Well, 12K is awesome. So what's the next step now for you since you closed this
Oh,
nice big one?
Oh, I'm going to start my Access Elite. I got in touch with Will Whitman, and
Mm-hmm.
he and I are working. I have a claim now for 103,000. I'm
Nice.
not a
Yeah, I was
claim,
gonna
but
say, yeah, Will's the man, he's the
yes,
go-to
okay.
guy in
So he actually,
Pennsylvania.
I have the paperwork now for the client. Just needs to sign the power of attorney.
Yeah, he's gonna make
Yeah,
sure you guys get paid, everything works out.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
working with Will on this. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's amazing. So for anybody that's first starting out in this industry, what's a piece of advice that you would give to them?
If you really want to do this, I don't know, just stay disciplined with it. And again,
Hmm.
like you say, you know what? The main thing is you have to make that call. And I don't want to make it to that. You have to. But now I think
Yeah.
with this technology, man, I'm watching the CRMs. I'm like, wait a minute, you make it
Yeah.
so easy now. We don't have to do anything.
I'm telling you, yeah, because the CRM, I mean, we have the ability to mass market.
Yes,
Of course,
yes.
with compliance, though, we'll make sure
No,
we're
right.
DNC,
Yes, yes.
TCPA compliant. And then now you're going to have people that are responding to you. Then you can call warm leads instead of
Right,
just,
right, right.
taking your time. But hey, the old school way works. You close the deal the old school
Yes,
way. That's how I first started. Just pick up the
yes.
phone, pen
Yep,
and paper, send
yep.
out the mail, schedule the notary. So it's like
Hmm.
we got all these advanced technologies, but when it comes down to it, you could still get it done the old-fashioned way.
Yes, yes. Exactly, exactly,
Well, that's
exactly.
amazing, man. I'm so proud of you for closing this deal, and
Thank
you've
you.
definitely inspired. Whenever, when students post their wins, people get motivated. They
Right,
see,
right.
the proof is
Exactly.
in the pudding.
Right,
Yep.
right. Exactly.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing your success story. And everybody that's watching, make sure you take action.